All right. Good afternoon, everyone here and in Carson City. Today is Thursday, January 4th, 2024. This meeting is recorded in case it needs to be transcribed later. This is the time and place for the tax and license long-awaited and anticipated internal control procedures workshop. We call that internally as ICP. This workshop will be purely for discussion purposes today, and no action by the board will be taken. Because this is technically a workshop, we will start off by taking any public comments. Anyone wishing to address us may do so at this time. And if you have some kind of comments, I don't see anyone here right now, but if you do have comments regarding the actual ICPs themselves, I would ask that you would save that for later when we get into the ICP so that you can bring it up at that time and there won't be any kind of time limits or anything like that. Otherwise, this part of the general public comments will have a 3-minute time limit. So I want to note this is the general time comments part. So for the general comments, those are limited to 3 minutes pursuant to Nevada's open meeting law. Matters brought to the attention of the board during this public comment section cannot be acted upon. But of course, we are happy to hear comments from the public as well as members of the board. Is there anyone in Carson City at this time? If so, please go up to the podium. All right, is there anyone in Las Vegas? I don't see anyone here, but if so, please come up to the podium. All right, seeing as there is none, we do have Member Watkins here. Member Watkins is the board member overseeing the tax and license division. I see that she is here to our side with Judge Assad. Then also we have the chair in the back. And Member Watkins, before I get into my stuff, do you have any comments you would like to make?
Good afternoon. Not much to say. I just wanted to say thank you to you and to your division for all of your hard work on the ICPs and preparing them, and your collaboration and reaching out to the industry to ensure there was input and making sure their concerns were addressed. I look forward to the conversation.
All right, thank you. And for tax and license staff today, we have myself, I'm Chief of Tax and License, Chan Langsvat. I have Supervisor Jocelyn Mendez here at the dais here. And then in Carson City, we have Deputy Chief Matt Wilkes. We have Supervisor Andy Lane, and then we also have Senior Agent Chris Citra. I could not remember his last name. Chris Citra, I apologize. So, and here in the audience, we have Special Agent John O'Connor. We have Senior Agent Rashmi Kumar. And then we also have Jess Cordial, our supervisor for the licensing division or department and collections. And as a reminder, ICPs are for Group 2 licensees. Group 1 licensees fall under the purview of MIX and administered by the audit division. And save for a few exceptions today, a few changes requested by the industry. The changes have mostly been made due to the modernization of Group 2 licensees and also to parallel changes to the mix as required by 4 Group 1 licensees. Procedurally, on November 17, 2023, we sent out an industry notice informing licensees of the new proposed version 4 versions of the ICPs and version 1 of the information technology ICPs. All drafts were dated November 7th, 2023. The deadline for the feedback and questions was December 15, 2023. We received some feedback and or questions from the industry regarding the new proposed versions, and all have been addressed, discussed, answered, and withdrawn, except for a couple that we will discuss shortly. Even in 2009, most of our Group 2 licensees had manual systems, and our ICPs reflected that at the time. Fast forward to today, many Group 2 licensees have implemented online slot metering systems and have found the automated systems helpful for compliance purposes and also for their bottom line. And now the new ICPs we've drafted are reflecting these changes, especially in slots. Therefore, the game plan today is to not go through the entire library of ICPs out there. Instead, we will highlight a few ICPs that users may be interested in or have shown interest in. Then we'll open up the podium to anyone in attendance that may have any comments or concerns discussed live today. If there are any comments or concerns, hopefully we can resolve any of those comments today. Then we will end the workshop by giving a timeline of what the industry can expect from us here at the board. This ICP project has been an all hands on deck project for our division for a while, but I wanted to give particular thanks to Agent Kristen Dale. She worked on it before having a child and then got right back into it after she returned. So I really appreciate that. And also I'd like to give a big thank you to Supervisor Jocelyn Mendez for managing the project and getting it to this point. To further discuss the ICPs in detail, here is Supervisor Mendez.
All right, thank you, Chief. For the record, Jocelyn Mendez, Supervisor of Tax and License Division. So at this point, I'd like to discuss some of the ICPs that are important, ICPs that had questions from the industry, and then changes that we already plan on making to the drafts. Beginning with slots. Currently for larger slot payouts, the machines usually lock up at $1,200 jackpot amount to prompt the licensees to produce a W2G. So in the version 4, this amount is going to increase to $5,000 to be in line with potential changes made by the IRS. The next item is the one that I received the most questions about, and that has to do with calculating simple average and weighted average for theoretical hold. It's been determined that the write-up in the draft is a little bit confusing, so we're going to change the wording. But the bottom line on this one is, even if you have a slot system that automatically calculates the weighted average, you can still use simple average. So that's going to be a big deal for our licensees because it's a much easier process for them. So those changes will be made in an industry notice that will be coming out later. And to mention, those are for ICPs 81 and 82 and the notes affiliated with those. Next, we'll move on to cage and credit. Historically, if group 2s or restricted licensees want to use wagering accounts or offer wagering accounts, we've always referred to the mix. So those licensees would have to be in compliance with the mix regarding anything to do with wagering accounts. After some inquiries from the industry regarding wagering accounts, it seemed that more and more we're going to start offering these. And so we decided to try and implement them into our cage and credit ICPs rather than referring to the mix. So those are in the draft currently, and those are cage and credit ICPs 45 through 57. But after further research and analysis, it was determined that Reg 5.225 does not refer to the ICPs, only refers to the mix. So those will be taken back out of cage and credit and going back to our old way of referring to the mix. So that will be one change that you'll look for in the next draft. Moving on to entertainment. During the Audit Division and Tax and License Division public workshop that was held on November 28th, 2023, it was announced that the board is working with the legislature to remove all mix and ICP requirements for reporting LET. And this is going to change to where there's only general guidelines. The Audit Division is working on this project, and it's tentatively scheduled to start really moving forward next month. So at the time that they change their procedures and remove the mix, we'll remove the ICPs the same way. And then finally, for information technology, this is the first time that we've had information technology ICPs, so it will be version 1. And it was decided that we needed these because of the increase of licensees who are installing online metering slot systems. So we took the mix and took the ones that we felt were most important. We didn't take all of the mix and put them in the ICPs. And we understand that we're going to have to work with our group 2s to be able to comply with these because some of them still have older systems as well. So that's one item of note. So those were some of the ICPs that I thought needed to be highlighted. However, we'd like to open up to the floor And in Carson City, if anyone has any questions or comments from the industry or otherwise.
I don't see anyone in Carson or here, so we can move on.
So seeing that no one's here for comments or questions, I'll just go over the timeline a little bit just to give an idea. And of course, all of these dates are tentative. The next step will be an industry notice that will go out that will allow the industry 20 days to provide further comments. So once some of the changes I just mentioned and any other changes are made, a new version of drafts will go out and there will be 20 days to make any questions or comments for those. After reading those comments and the industry is satisfied, the chair or designee will adopt the new ICPs. So that will be another industry notice. Once adopted by the board, the industry will have the ability to appeal to the commission within 30 days. And if there are concerns, the commission may take up to 60 days to address the concerns. Right now, our target effective date is May 1st, 2024, and target compliance date is July 1st, 2024. And just a tiny background about the difference between the effective date and the compliance date. So effective date would be where licensees should be transitioning into any new procedures that they need to perform or changes in procedures from version 3 to version 4. And then compliance date of July 1st would be the point where they have to be in compliance, and that's when we would actually cite violations if they were not in compliance. So unless there's any questions from anyone, I'll send the workshop back to Chief Langsalath for closing remarks.
All right, thank you, Supervisor Mendez. Member Watkins, do you have any comments or concerns?
I don't have any concerns. I'd just like to encourage the industry to provide input by the deadline. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, and we did solicit the industry to do that. Not everyone, of course, we have thousands of licensees out there, but some of the major meaning they have multiple properties and things like that for group 2. We did reach out to them and we did receive some feedback ahead of time. We thought maybe some would show up today, but apparently we took care of most of those issues. So there's no one here today for that.
And Chief Langsalath, just to confirm, but they will have another opportunity to comment. Is that right?
Yes, plenty. Once we make the revisions, we will send an industry notice out there. They'll have 20 days to comment and contact us for that. Then once the chair or the chair's designee adopts the actual new ICPs, they can also at that time have 30 days to reach out to the commission if they'd like, and then the commission can take action at that point if they need to. So there's still plenty of time for that to happen. But the reason why we're doing this and taking all the comments ahead of time is to try to stave any of that off if we can at this point. So okay, all right, and before we close out, we typically will ask for more public comments if there are any. So I'm just looking around here in Las Vegas. If there's anyone willing to or wanting to provide some comments, please do so. I don't see anyone getting up here. And in Carson City, is there anyone up there? Okay, no one in Carson City either. So seeing that there is none, I think this is a good time to go ahead and close out the workshop. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.